This is basically the lower Ninth Ward, which is, pretty world famous as it relates to Hurricane Katrina. And what we're looking at now is the rebuilt levees that had a major breach. When you have a wave, think about a wave of water 25 to 30 feet high that comes for hours. It literally lifted homes and repositioned some. They were like, I don't know, mini Noah's Ark, some of them, that were floating for a minute and then sank. And unfortunately, a lot of them had people in them. Many didn't make it. I think of Katrina every day, I really do. And, when I come down here or go to another area that's still struggling, I think of it. I think about it every morning when I put on my survivor bracelet, which the kids gave me. Basically, it reminds me of what I should be working on. So Katrina will be with me for the rest of my life. That's just my burden.
We had prepared for a normal hurricane, but we had no idea that the levees would break. And then we knew that we had something altogether different on our hands.
Hurricane Katrina devastated 90,000 square miles of land. 270,000 people were forced to move out of their homes, and more than 1,800 people lost their lives.
The best way I could describe it, I was just totally heartbroken. And I was grateful that I was out. It was hard to know that you was leaving people behind that was going to be dying and suffering.
I thought about my family. I thought about where my kids would continue to grow up. I had a 6-year-old daughter at the time. So I don't know if I thought about it as a politician, but more as a member of this community and someone who cared deeply about it and wanted to see it get better.
I wanted to stay, but he said, no, you have to leave because if it does hit and something happens, I need to be able to focus on the city and not you guys, so I need you to get out of here.
The first time I flew up and got to this section of the city, it literally brought me to tears because I had seen other sections of the city that were so devastated, but this one was probably the worst. There were bodies floating in the water. It's just a devastating scene. My emotions went on a total roller coaster ride. That's when I really understood the magnitude of this challenge, and I knew it would be very tough to come back.
In the midst of things, he's very calm. And he gathered us all right here in this space. He said, we have to now start preparing for a different level of disaster. And we got our marching orders from there.
I had my moments when I said a little prayer and said, why me, God? Why do you have me at this moment? There were challenges that were coming up daily, almost hourly.
We really need some help. We got babies out here. I got 3 kids.
We waded in that water, dirty, filthy water, and we dirty. This is not the way we live.
What the state was doing, I don't freaking know. Because the lack of coordination, people are dying in my city.
There he was with people who were literally dying, drowning, and trying to get out of the city. That was the most emotional time I saw of him, where he wasn't getting the assistance and the help that he really needed.
And Mayor Nagin blamed the federal government. 3 days after Katrina hit, frustration turned to desperation at City Hall. And it was in that moment that Nagin called into a major U.S. radio station.
They don't have a clue what's going on down here. Excuse my French, everybody in America, but I am pissed. Don't tell me 40,000 people are coming here. They're not here. It's too doggone late. Now get off your asses and let's do something, and let's fix the biggest goddamn crisis in the history of this country.
All of us just said, yes. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That was his defining moment right after Katrina, because he expressed very bluntly the frustrations of everybody, black, white, Democrat, Republican, all New Orleanians who were so fed up with the lack of a federal response.
God is looking down on all this, and if they are not doing everything in their power to save people, they are going to pay the price, because every day that we delay, people are dying.
I bet that the people listening to you are on your side.
Well, I hope so, Garland. I am just I'm at the point now where it don't matter. People are dying. They don't have homes. They don't have jobs. The city of New Orleans will never be the same.
We're both pretty speechless here. Yeah, I don't know what to say.
I gotta go.
The stress and the pressure were pretty awesome. Probably I slept for maybe 2-3 hours a night because there were so many. We were in nuclear crisis mode is how I describe it.
When we evacuated, and he came to see us for the first time, and I was staying with my brother. I may get a little emotional because every time I talk about it, you know, just get a little emotional. But I was by my brother's house, and when he walked in the door and I saw him, he had lost 20 pounds. He had hair all over his face, but he had a smile on his face. He was smiling, and it was just so, we were so happy to see him.
After rescue came rebuilding.
I understood that every day that I came into this office, it would be a war almost. It would be a war to rebuild my city, and it would be a war to get the right information out. And that was truly challenging.
In order to rebuild, Nagin had to first get himself re-elected.
This city will be chocolate at the end of the day.
After the break, Nagin targets the black vote.